My name is Colin Hastings. I'm the Executive Director of the Pasco Chamber of Commerce, and we're delighted to have you here today. Thanks for making it out, and the wind didn't blow you off course. Today's program features a presentation from Pasco School Superintendent Michelle Whitney. So we're happy to have her. It's a very important time of year for her. And also, before we get into the program, I want to remind everyone, if they haven't voted yet, please do. The election day is tomorrow, and I know that there'll be a lot of conversation about the bond today, but I do want to share that the Pasco Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors did pass a resolution last month in support of the bond. So with that, I would like to invite everyone to stand up and join me into a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, please have a seat. I do have a couple of elected representatives that I'd like to introduce today. I know from the Port of Pasco, Jim Klindworth is slated to show up, but I haven't seen him walk in. That means that Stu Nelson, Franklin PUD Commissioner, gets all the love today. So let's give Stu a round of applause. I also want to introduce our current board members of the Pasco Chamber and some of the past presidents that have showed up here today as well too. This podium's on wheels, so Michelle, be forewarned. This is going to be a move on you. So hands off the podium, speak with your hands, like you're presenting. But so I do want to introduce board of directors that have joined us here today. Tim Brigman with STCU, Kim Fall, Nick Punch is supposed to be here. I haven't seen him walk in. Same with James Sexton. That's busy today. I think some people might be running in a little bit late. Norm Rummel with Franklin PUD. Del Clark as well too is supposed to be here. I haven't seen him run in. Charles Grimm with Grocery Outlet as well too. So let's give them a round of applause and thank them for serving on the chamber. Christina Vieira and Mike Gonzalez as well too. Thank you. That's why you wave at me when I'm up here. Also want to introduce some of the past presidents that have joined us here today. We have Lance Hobson and Tara Wiswall. Jason Hogue is supposed to be here as well too. Ryan Brault, Julie Killian, and I think Joe Roach is here as well too. So there they is. Thank you. And without your leadership in the past, really makes a difference today, especially with the board of directors that are currently serving as well, to have that continuity. So we appreciate your continued participation. So let's give a round of applause to the past presidents who have joined us here today. All right, a couple items I do want to share a little bit of what's going on at the Pasco Chamber here. You might have been kind of taking a peek at our slideshow here, but we have a few events that are coming up that is something that we'd like to promote a little bit earlier than normally we have, just because we have the time. We don't have any big events until June, and that's when we have our Sagebrush Scramble. So if you're interested in golfing and participating, we also have sponsorships available. We've done this now, I think, 10 or 11 years. I think it's 10. I think that's what the artwork says, is the 10th annual. And it's always here over at Sun Willows. It's a fun event. If you haven't participated in the Sagebrush Scramble, everybody walks away with a good time. It's a 1 p.m. shotgun start. It always concludes with dinner and awards. And everybody generally leaves with a smile on their face. And it might be because a little bit of what they had on the course as well, too. But we'll have the sign-ups available online here real soon, and would appreciate any sort of participation of that. I did want to recognize, too, that some of the funds do go to our Pasco Chamber Foundation account, which is a charitable account that we have. Last year, the funds were collected to help get our billboard under completion and get lights on the billboard. So that's kind of the stuff we do. I know it goes in and helps other projects that we may have, whether it's our Lyle Holt Scholarship Foundation or our Cultivating Our Future grant that we have as well too. So not only is it a good time, but it's for a good cause. Right after that, about a month later, is going to be our Craw Fest. So this will be the 5th year that we've had our Craw Fest, and this is one of those events that's new to the Tri-Cities, at least by way of the Pasco Chamber. Many, many moons ago, Jackson's Bar, which is now the Dugout on Lee Boulevard in Richland, they used to have a big crawdad boil. And Buddy Bentz, some of you might know, he was the cook many years ago. I think they used to have upwards of 1,500 people that would show up for their event. Well, we decided we want to do something different a few years ago and decided that we want to do our own crawdad boil, partly because there's actually a regional fishery, commercial fishery now. Years past, used to be able to fly in live shrimp from Louisiana or the Gulf, and those crawfish are a little bit different, and so it's an invasive species up here. Washington State passed a law that says, hey, you can't fly in live crawfish from elsewhere. So this is why this industry is now blossoming here in the Northwest. So we're happy to tout that we're the largest crawfish feed, boil, whatever, in Washington State and possibly the Northwest. We had over 600 people that participated last year. Went through about 1,500 pounds of crawfish. If you've never had it, you should at least come and try it. You get a big serving, but you can share it with all your friends as well, too. This year, we're planning on having 2,000 pounds harvested and brought over. They're boiled the way they ought to be, as I was told by Buddy, from the South, with all the right spices and the live music that goes along with it. So we have it right at Osprey Point too. It's a great setting, right on the river. The weather last year was awesome. It was a little warm, but we have a beer garden too to cool you off. So it's one of those items that we're looking for sponsorships for that, and we'll be reaching out to some of the past sponsors as well that has helped us out. The next item that we have coming up, we actually have a networking event coming up. You might have seen that there is a flyer out there for the St. Patty's, let me do that again. It's the Posse Patty Day, and the reason why we have the Posse is we're launching this group, and it's kind of been in existence for a while. COVID kind of slowed it down a little bit, but we have this organization within the chamber called the Pasco Posse. And I saw Jason walking. I should have Jason tell us a little bit more about this. So Jason, Tara, if I missed something, please correct me. But this group has come together, and they're the real active Pasco Chamber members. They show up to the luncheons a lot. They come to the ribbon cuttings and so forth. But we wanted to do a little bit more and have a networking event as well, too. So thanks to Tasha and Total Employment and Management, they're hosting the very first one, March 2nd. That's why it's called the Pasco Posse Patty's Day something, get together. And perfect timing, too, that, oh, I should go back here. The QR code works. Tara tried it out this morning. Thank you, because I hadn't had a chance to test it out. So if you're interested in becoming a Pasco Posse member, it's real easy to throw an application in. The idea is just it's more of a gathering of like-minded Pasco Chamber supporters that want to help support businesses in Pasco, and a lot of that is done by supporting those businesses. Maybe it's learning more about team at the networking event. Plus, it's fun, and the core committee that we have right now. Our meetings sometimes can be a challenge because it's a little too fun, but I have a feeling that personality will carry through with the posse. So if it's something that you're interested in, number one, come to the event March 2nd. Thanks to team for putting out a spread for us as well too. It's going to be a good time. There's Tosh right there if you want to learn more about their business too. But come out, check it out. I think you're going to see that this is going to be one of those kind of like Crawfest, where this is kind of building up, and you're going to see a lot more of the Pasco Posse. And I know everybody on the committee and current Pasco Posse members are waiting for their badges. So they're going to have little name badges as well too. So if you want to be cool like them, sign up, and then we'll be in touch with more information. Jason, Tara, did I miss anything? Did I cover that well? Now we'll get right into it. As I mentioned before, the Pasco Chamber did weigh in and encourages the Pasco residents to support the bond. And so it's our pleasure today to introduce our keynote speaker. that we'll hear from. Michelle Whitney has been part of the Pasco School District for more than 25 years, starting out as a kindergarten teacher before moving on to serve as assistant principal at McLaughlin Middle School. She's also served as the district's Director of Human Resources, Executive Director of Teaching and Learning, and Deputy Superintendent. So it was back in 2016 that Michelle was sworn in as our superintendent, and so I guess that makes it almost 7 years, going into 7 years this year, and was overseeing a school district with more than 2,000 employees. And this number might be wrong. Are we over 19,000 students? Are we over 20 yet? Okay, we're inching closer to 20,000 students in our community. That's amazing. So Mrs. Whitney is a proud product of Columbia Basin College, where she received her associate's degree before moving on to Washington State University to earn her bachelor's and master's degree in education. She also received her principal's certification and superintendent's credential from WSU. So please help me welcome Michelle Whitney, Pasco Superintendent.
So thank you so much for having me here this afternoon. I am an extraordinarily proud product. I have 13 years of post-high school education, all but 2 happened right here in this community. If I was to have gone through school now, I would have never had to leave this community to have the degrees and credentials that I do. I could have done them right here in our community. So I amplify and elevate that story all of the time to our students so that they can see that you can go through community college, state school, and sit in the chair of your dream job and get to give back to community you've loved your entire life, right here in the community that I love and serve every day. If you could give a round of applause to the Pasco School District employees that were here, I'm going to ask them to stand. I know that they had an opportunity to do that, but my team can stand. If you guys could clap for them, I would appreciate it. It is not uncommon when I speak that I show up and my team shows up for me that way. I don't ask them to. This is what we do in Pasco to support each other, and I just want to acknowledge and thank them. So I'm here today to talk to you about our district. Our district currently has 25 schools. 17 of those are elementary, 4 middle, 4 high, and 4 virtual learning opportunities for our students. We serve 19,252 students. Those of you who've lived in our community may remember a time when Pasco School District was the smallest of the 3 school districts. We are now the largest. Kennewick is at 19,002 students. So not just largest by a little bit, we're largest by a ways. We also, and I want to amplify this, we currently serve students, 33.7% of our students are designated as EL or emerging bilinguals. 56% of our students come to us already speaking another language other than English, and that will become really important in a couple slides. We also have almost 3,000 dedicated employees who do the work of educating this community's children. About half of those are certificated employees and half of those are classified employees. So any job you need a specified credential to do is in the bucket of certificated, and jobs that you don't are in the bucket of classified. I amplified the number of our students who come to us already speaking another language other than English, predominantly Spanish, but we also have a robust Russian and Ukrainian speaking population. We have 6 bilingual programs in our district that are really on a continuum designed to support students in their journey to becoming bilingual. One of the programs on one end of the continuum are what we call our newcomer programs. So students who come to us not yet having the opportunity to learn a language come right to our schools. 2, along a continuum into our dual language programs where any student in Pasco School District can start the journey to become bilingual in kinder. So if I'm an English-speaking student, English is the language that's spoken in my home, I can choose as a kindergartner to enter into our dual language program and learn shoulder to shoulder with a friend of mine whose Spanish is their home language, and we grow up through the organization together, learning about each other and learning each other's language. So it's an amazing part of because of the richness and diversity we have in our community that we can offer this amazing opportunity for our students to become bilingual. Just over 2,100 students are enrolled in our bilingual program, making us one of the largest bilingual programs in Washington State. So we are proud to amplify and celebrate the language of our students. Almost 80% of our students have graduated with their high school diploma in what's called a seal of biliteracy, which just tells the world that they have a unique skill set around bilingualism. We are committed to 5 outrageous outcomes that, when combined, create a trajectory of success for our students where we want them to read on grade level in their language of instruction in 3rd grade. We want them to pass algebra by the end of 9th grade. Some of our students do that in 7th grade, some do it in 8th grade, but we want all of them to do that by the end of 9th grade. We want all of our students on track for graduation at the end of their 9th grade year. Students who are not on track to graduate are 40 to 60% more likely to drop out. So when I became superintendent in 2016, right before that, I was doing some data analysis to see which goals we might recommend to the board. 36% of our 9th graders were on track for graduation. So does it make you gasp? Yeah, it did me too. So we got to work on that, and right before the pandemic, 80% of our 9th graders were on track for graduation. The pandemic's been hard on our kids, and we are working really hard to bounce back, and I know that now that we have access to them in person regularly, that our infrastructures and systems will help that data bounce right back for us. We also want 100% of our students to graduate with a career path, and that, I hope, will be elevated today as I talk to you about our CTE programs. And then we want 100% of our students to have meaningful connections and hope for their future. This goal used to talk about extracurricular activity. I have a high school student advisory council. I have 30 high school kids I meet with 6 times a year, and I put my goals up in front of them, and I was like, hey, I was all excited about them. I said, are these the right goals? And they said, no, miss, those are not the right goals. And I was like, oh, well, tell me more about that. And they really felt like there was a missing goal around connection and relationship. They were like, you know what, you talk all the time about how important we are to you and to the teachers, and we see that, we feel that, but your goals don't say that. So I went into what, I started defending and explaining my goals. Well, but this one about extracurricular, it's about connection. And they're like, yeah, but it doesn't say that. Wouldn't it just be easier if it said that, miss? It was like out of the mouth of our students. So we went to work as an organization helping them, or they helped us identify this 5th outrageous outcome. So we carry that with a sense of pride and commitment, because that's absolutely what our students are asking us for. February is CTE month, so I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to amplify to you our career and technical education programs, and I thought, given the nature of this group as business leaders in our community, you might be really interested in this topic. So, career and technical education is a really important part of the continuum of programs that we offer for our students, and it aligns perfectly with our outrageous outcomes to have our students graduate, but not just graduate, have a career path in mind, and maybe even having already taken some steps to get there before they leave us. And that we want 100% of our students to be connected with meaningful connections and hope for their future. We start well before high school with our students through a mechanism or a program that we call AVID. I've got these glasses during the pandemic because I couldn't see. It happened on a Wednesday. I could see fine, and then turns out just buying the glasses doesn't help you see. You actually have to wear them. So I haven't been wearing them, and they kind of make me nauseous. So I'm going to take them off. They're the kind. I just went straight from no glasses to the ones that have the 3. Yeah. So I get so. So we commit to our students developing a career path by committing to a program called AVID, which means Advancement via Individual Determination, that starts at the elementary level, creating a career thinking or a career-minded and a college-going culture. So it's never too early to start our students exploring what they want to do as a career or to open their horizons and think about that hope for the future and create a dream for themselves. We get real serious about that in the middle school and in the high schools, where every student has a high school and beyond plan that helps them think about what happens for them after high school, into a career after high school, and then into life. Every day is career day. Career days are an important part of our offering, but we don't want being career-minded or college-going focused to just be one day. We want it to be integrated into the infrastructure of the experiences that we give kids every day. So in this network, you can see some of the opportunities we provide students, like work-based learning, career paths to graduation, career exploration, etc., All of this is supported by an amazing position in our school district called the Community Engagement Manager. Each of our high schools has one, and that person's role is to really be that conduit between the school and people like you, our business community, so that we're sure that we're focused on career and technical education that align with industry standards of today. So that is our goal, that our students are leaving us with, and they're ready to be employed in the jobs that you have for them, having a leg up amongst their peers because they have already had some industry-based, robust experiences while they're with us. We have 40 different CTE graduation pathways in 16 career clusters, and you can see those on this amazing graphic. The legislature recently added a CTE pathway as a way for students to meet their graduation requirement. So if students are choosing that as a way to meet their graduation requirement, they have to earn two credits in a career path, and at least one of those needs to be a dual credit or an industry certification. So a dual credit course means that I get high school credit. It's like a twofer. I get high school credit, but then I also get college credit. So they're leaving us with that experience, but also leaving us with a college credit or an industry recognized credential, which I'll talk more about on the next slide, maybe. Click, there we go. So about 1,300 of our students have participated in courses that would end up with an industry recognized credential. That's an increase of 44% over the year before. Now my team knows I don't settle for anything until it's 100%. So until 100% of the students that need one, get one, or should have one, have an industry recognized credential, our work is not done, but we definitely are making leaps and bounds of increase in that data. So students who have an industry recognized credential have a marketable skill. They can leave us and enter into living wage jobs that can help them in being a contributor in our community, and in sometimes give me a holding pattern to where then I'm ready to go to college, maybe in 3 years or 4 years or 5 years outside of high school. And on the slide you can see some examples of our industry recognized credentials, things like OSHA 10, forklift, SolidWorks, Microsoft, food workers cards, STARS, etc. So 675 college credits were earned during the 21-22 school years, over 18 articulated courses. So course articulations let our students go through these pathway experiences with us, earn college credits that then articulate into, for example, CBC. And CBC has been an amazing partner with us, being very innovative and thoughtful about what those articulated pathways look like. It just makes that transition from our experience within the four corners of our high schools into a college experience at CBC that much more simple for our students. We have made a lot of effort in expanding our programs, all of which are there. I do want to highlight two of them, however. We have a new mental health and counseling course that's been extremely popular. Over the course of the pandemic, we all know that mental health situations for students and families has been on the increase, so it has increased our students' interest in mental health and counseling as a pathway or as a career. When I meet with my student advisory group, it comes up every year. They're very concerned about mental health, their own and that of their students. They ask me things like, Mrs. Whitney, can you help us learn about what healthy boundaries look like in relationships? And they say things like, can you help me understand if I'm in a toxic relationship and how I might get out of it if I'm in one? This is what our students ask us for as people who are important in making decisions in their life. They're absolutely incredible. The other that I wanted to amplify and elevate is our bilingual educator initiative. We have a future teacher pathway in our schools, both for bilingual and non-bilingual teachers, where our students take courses with us that give them experiences within our high school setting and then prepares them to go into school after they leave us and come right back to us to be teachers within the four corners of our high schools or in any of our schools. This is a phenomenal pathway. There is no one better prepared to serve our community than kids who went through our system. So they can go through this pathway and earn college credits, and then they can earn up to 11 college credits in this pathway. So when people talk to us about our expansion of dual language and our school district friends across the state that are doing this, are they asking us questions like, well, are you seeing a bilingual educator shortage? And I can proudly say no, because we're growing our very own students right within our classrooms to go to college and come back and then be the next teacher in the classrooms that they have been in our school district. So our students also find meaningful connection and leadership opportunities through extracurricular activities. So the young men there holding their project, that's our medals shop through an FFA competition. They won at the state level. You have FCCLA there, and then on the far right are our students who are participating in the mental health counseling pathway. They did a paint pour through their unit on art therapy. So just some examples of how our experiences within the four corners of our classroom are expanded into our clubs as a way to have students be meaningfully connected to their academic experience and to each other. So as Colin said, this is an important time for Pasco School District. Actually, all 3 school districts here locally have elections on the ballot. Ours is a bond, and the election is tomorrow. I am going to show a short video to amplify one of our students.
Hi, my name is Lorena, and I'm a student here at Chihuahua High School. I can tell you firsthand that students in our Pasco School District love our schools. Whether you're a student or a grown-up, everyone who has attended a Pasco school has a favorite teacher, bus driver, counselor, principal, or important person who has helped us learn. With over 19,000 students in 25 schools, our classrooms are over capacity, especially in our high schools. In fact, Chihuahua High School is currently the largest high school in the state, and Pasco High School is the 6th biggest. The district even estimates that over 1,500 students between both schools will be served in portable classrooms this school year. And Pasco is continuing to grow. Did you know that Pasco is expected to grow 32% over the next 10 years? That's why the district is running a bond in February 2023 to invest in students like me and future generations. Bonds raise funds to construct new schools and update older ones. Our district has used bonds many times before, most recently in 2017 to build Three Rivers and Columbia River Elementary Schools and Ray Reynolds Middle School, replace Stevens Middle School, and make safety and security improvements to our existing schools. If the February 2023 bond is approved, the district would build 2 new high schools to serve 2,600 students total. This includes 1 new comprehensive high school and a new small innovative high school, also called the Career and College Academy. What is a small innovative high school? The Career and College Academy would be a smaller school with a unique program and career opportunities, like Delta High School. This school will serve only Pasco students and offer pathways in high-demand areas in our community, such as health and human services, engineering, and manufacturing. The bond would also allow us to add a softball field at Pasco High School for their girls' softball teams, make career and technical education enhancements and modernizations at existing CTE spaces at Chihuahua and Pasco High Schools, and have money available to purchase land for future schools. The bond will run on February 14th, 2023, which is also Valentine's Day, and a great reminder of how much we love Pasco schools. Learn more about Bond 2023 by visiting www.psd1.org/bond2023.
So I wanted to talk about Lorena a little bit. She did this in one take in English, so I'm officially replaced as a spokesperson because I don't do anything in one take. She turned right around and did this exact same video for us in Spanish. She's also the speech and debate champion at Chihuahua High School, so she can beat you in a debate in both English and Spanish. So take that. She did a really nice job explaining, and we don't want to hear it again, sorry, explaining the projects that are on the bond, and I'm not going to go over all of them again, but I did want to make some bright line connections to our CTE programming. So you heard her talk about the small innovative high school. So certainly a comprehensive high school, like we know what that is. We all probably went to one. It's our traditional kind of quote unquote big box high schools. But the small innovative high school that we're talking about through the lens of career and college academy is a smaller 600-person high school that students will opt into, just like they do Delta High School. It'll only serve Pasco students. Our goal is that every kid that wants to go there can. If we have more students that want to go there, we'll do a lottery just like we do Delta High School. We would provide transportation for kids during the school day. Any extracurricular activity that's not offered there, they would participate at their home high school just like Delta High School. Here's where it's different than Delta High School. The pathways are different. At Delta High School, the pathway is STEM, and they talk a lot about STEM into a four-year university. So here's what we heard from our students. They wanted another high school that was a small high school. So we have 33, 35 spots at Delta High School. We have 100 to 150 students annually on a waiting list to go to Delta High School. So there is an interest from our students in this community for a small high school experience. They also said, while we want the opportunity to do things in the STEM area, we also want the opportunity to do other things in this pathway-based experience. So that's where Human and Health Services came in. That's a big interest to our students right now. So the Human and Health Services and the Engineering and Manufacturing pathways, just like at Delta High School, but when you think about that, when they come out of this experience, think about it on a continuum from I'm going to earn a certificate while I'm there, and I'm going to take my certificate and I'm going to go out into the world of work, into a living wage job where I can be a contributor to this community. That's an option for me. I can go through the pathway, collect some credit or some college credits while I'm here, go into a two-year university. I can do the same thing into a four-year university. So the outcome is in a continuum of I have a certificate and I'm going right to work, or I have some credits and I'm going to go to college. So it's really important for us, for you to understand that there's some, well, is it a trade school like Tri-Tech? No. Is it like Delta? Yes and no. So it's really kind of a combination of the two, where all of those pathways are celebrated and amplified. The other piece I wanted to highlight about our bond is also our commitment to career and technical education within our high schools. So you heard modernization and enhancement of career and technical education spaces at both Pasco High and Chiawana High School. So what we want to do with the third comprehensive high school is for it to have signature CTE programs, which would be agriculturally based, but then modernize the facilities at both Pasco High and Chiawana. Some of you are like, Chiawana needs modernized already? It's already 12 years old. Can you believe it? But and I always like to use the example of Pasco High. Pasco High has an automotive shop. It's very similar, like if he went there, it's very similar to when you went there. It needs modernized and updated with infrastructure that can support the technology of today. So like when I go open the hood of my car, I can't even see like the spark plugs anymore, right? And you take it and they plug it into the computer and then it tells you that, the computer tells you that the spark plugs need changed. Our shop needs upgraded so that it can support that kind of technological infrastructure so our students get the experience of working on the cars of today. Not to mention, there'll be a huge industry push for working on electric cars. So our shop needs to be able to have the infrastructure to support that. So I think that's a really clean, clear example of what modernizing the existing CTE spaces can do for our students, because we want them industry ready. So Pasco High will maintain, they have a metal shop and an auto shop, so that'll be their signature programming. And then Chiawana High School has like a maker space with a big CNC machine and 3D printers, etc. That will be their signature programs. So students will have kind of this permeable membrane boundaries between the three high schools, that if I want to opt in to a signature CTE program that my boundary school doesn't have, I can do that by going to the school outside of where I live. All of the high schools will have, some of the classes will be offered at all three high schools. But those classes where the facility is so expensive that it doesn't make sense to replicate it at the three high schools, that ends up being the signature program. So again, my hope in amplifying just those two pieces of the bond that Lorena did such a nice job talking about is just to draw that bright line connection to how committed we are in Pasco School District to career and technical education as a robust part of what we offer students. So I know I had like 30 to 35 minutes, which seems like a lifetime for these presentations. I just want to remind everyone to go ahead and participate in the election. It's tomorrow. So it is Valentine's Day, so I'll be eating chocolate. The emotions attached to that chocolate will be directly connected to the outcome of the election. You should have received your ballot if you didn't. I didn't receive mine, so I had to call, and there's a couple different ways to get it if you don't receive it, and vote by tomorrow. So we appreciate you, and I'm happy to answer questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Again, don't forget to vote if you haven't done so. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Pasco School District, for helping us out today. John with City of Pasco, too. Thanks for filming this today. You'll be able to watch this on PSC-TV. Kelly's got the, oh, I get to pick it? Okay, I usually let somebody else do this. So hate me if I didn't pick your name. We have a great door prize today from Baum's House of Chocolates. That is chocolate on the outside filled with more chocolates. So, if you haven't gotten your Valentine's yet, for your Valentine, this is perfect. So the winner is Kathy Ruggles with Washington Trust Bank. Congratulations. Thanks so much for making it out today. Be sure if you have any interest in Pasco Posse, come talk to some of the Posse members, Tara, Jason, Christina, Kim, or, you know, smack that little QR code, or you go to our website as well too. And we look forward to seeing you at the Pasco Posse Patty's Day networking event at Team on March 2nd. It's hard for me to say. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.